Ready, we ready for young. What's up, everybody? Good morning. 9:30. We are now back on Eastern Standard Time here in Puerto Rico. So I got 1 hour less of sleep. This has been a wild morning, especially in the markets. Last night, Asia was selling short. Looks like the markets are in fact going short in not just not just in one place, but a few different places. So we're gonna break all of that down for y'all. I'm just gonna go ahead and post this on my X so I can get everybody live inside of here. Remember, we do not trade the morning candles. We have never traded the morning candles. We do not trade the first 5 minutes of the market. We simply just watch and wait. This is going to save your accounts from much pain. A lot of losses. You can take my word for it, as I've been doing this for quite some time. I want to see you guys at the end of the day make money instead of losing it. So just be patient. We will okay. Beautiful. Beautiful, my friends. And I just need one more place to post, and that is going to be on my Discord. All right, so we had come down to 24,000 on M&Q last night. That is pretty deep. That's a deep withdrawal inside of the market. I don't know if you guys know, but 400 point moves a day is great price action. This has kind of been teetering down on the downside, and it does not look like it wants to give up anytime soon. The friendly fire inside of the market is simply just going to be this P3 to a P4, and it's going to be ugly. Remember what I've taught you guys. I've taught you guys that inside of these consolidations in the market, it's very simple. We just stay patient, and when it starts to flood and it starts to pour, we're going to go short, and that's where generational wealth is going to be made. I would not be going long these markets. All of these different levels, all of these different experiences you're having inside of the market, chalk it up to one big learning lesson. Okay, so now that we had a couple of learning lessons in the market, where the past couple of weeks that I've been doing this, we have been making money. That is amazing, right? I've taught you guys how to connect your accounts. I've taught you guys how to make support and resistance levels. I've taught you guys what to look for in the markets. I've essentially given you every piece of information that I have to be successful inside of this market, and inside of this type of market, inside of any type of market, not just this type. And all I need you guys to do is just wake up every single day and trade with me. That's it. That's all that I require for my strategy to work for you. Okay? So as always, this morning we are going to be doing our levels. I also need to go grab my coffee. All right, I'm gonna let my coffee just make itself there. And now that we have our levels, our micro levels on the market, this is pretty far apart from each other. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not too excited to be trading today unless it's on the downside, just because of how far these points are away from each other. So let's go ahead and bring it down to the 15-minute just to go ahead and double check our levels. I like that. I like it. Looks good. There's probably one level down here, but we're going to double check. I'm not going to use forward price action. I'm only going to use previous price action to identify levels inside of the market. It does seem like there's going to be a level down here. Let me see if I can get a better one. It's going to be very simple to do this here. Yeah, okay. We'll put one here. Okay. So this is going to be a easygoing level to level day. What is the overall trend doing, right? The overall trend is on the downside. We aren't by any chance bullish in any point in view of this market. So if we are trading today, the masters are trading what? Short. We're trading short today. That's our overall aligned bias for the day. We want to make money, but where are we going to make our money? We're going to make our money short. How do we identify a trend so that we can utilize our trading view, right? And our connected brokerage, mind you, just to give you guys transparency here, you know, I have been making trades all of last week. We've made trades. Let's see if I can get my account somewhere here without costing me too much time. All right, I'll figure this out later. All right, we've been making trades all week. $1,400 last week. That's not bad. I just started this 50K account. I've done this at the start of how I've been doing this particular strategy in the market. So $1,500 is not a bad week for anybody. I mean, that's really good money. If everybody who followed this strategy knows that the first thing that I told them and taught them about the strategy is that you're not going to be making millions of dollars a day with this strategy. We are going to be making something that's realistic. Especially when using other people's money, okay? So keep that in mind. So what are we doing right now? Now we calmly look at the markets. We calmly take a piece of the picture, and then we are going to label the overall trend inside of the market so that we can understand where is our best trade going to be today. As I said, sideways chop. That's what we've had for the past almost 14 days, right? From the 5th to the 5th, that's actually 30 days of chop inside of the market. At no point do I think that this particular market is going to change anytime soon to go to the bullish side. In times of a high uncertainty, I talk about it in a lot of previous videos, the only thing that we're going to be focusing on is shorts. Times of war also bring us opportunities to short the market. I just saw a news post today as well. For those of you guys who did not see it, where is it? Let's see. It's here. I know it is. Here we go. So JP Morgan, war risk signals 10% drop of the SP 500. Andrew Taylor warns that the SP 500 could fall 10% from its peak as the Iran conflict pushes oil above $100. So if we look at this as a inverse to the market, they're literally telling you that this could drop, right? So if we're prepared for a 10% drop in the market, that's big money that can be made. Now, we don't look at all of the other commentaries of everything. I agree with this, and not because I'm just listening to his advice. I'm simply just looking at phases of the market. Where are we? We're here in the uncertainty point, right? So we're having exhaustion, right? Exhaustion is essentially just a higher high to a higher low to a lower low. And this is consolidating inside of a stage 3 that is going to what? Exactly. Drop with fear. Fear is created when people don't understand what's going on in the world, why gas prices are flying off the shelf right now. So that is all that we are focusing on. All right, cool. So now that we've talked about what our bias for the day is, how do we set up for the perfect trade? Well, right now we're teetering. Like I said, we don't trade that first 5-minute candle. We're now 10 minutes into the market. So our trading decks are open for the day. We're looking to make 2 trades for the day. 2 trades. No more, no less. I do not trade the markets all day. That is stupid as hell. If you want to make money inside of these markets, then we're simply going to make 2 trades in the market. Okay. All right, so on the 5-minute, what's going on right now? Looks like we're battling the EMAs right now. We're below the 9 EMA. We're trying to break below the 50 EMA. We're below the 50 EMA, below the 20 EMA, but above the 9 EMA and the VWAP. Divided we are. No trend there is, as Yoda would say. So what do we do? That's right. If you guys followed the previous videos, I told you, I've taught you what we should do. And then for those of you guys who just said we check the confluence, you're 100% correct. That is exactly what we do. We're going to check the confluence inside of the market. So what is the general sentiment of tech stocks? Okay. And it's okay if we can't find a trade on MNQ. There's plenty of other markets. Although, what did I teach you guys last class? Yes, that's right. I taught you guys last class we only trade 1 ticker. So you choose that ticker, you apply the concepts. If you're in the advanced mechanics of my strategy, then you're more than welcome to choose your own ticker, apply the same fundamentals to get the same process. Right now, Apple's sideways. Amazon, it went long to come short. Now it's back at basically the market mean. It's not great price action. AVGO, okay, is coming up, but now being sold short at yesterday's open. Not great. That's not high confluence. Remember, Trump also speaks today. So that's also another very important event that could happen today that moves markets. Meta is coming down. Microsoft is sideways. Nvidia is sideways. Tesla is coming down. So we have 1, 2 coming down. The rest are sideways. Is that something that we want to trade? I don't think so. Gotta put a shirt on before my wife gets mad. Okay, there we go. I don't want to scare you guys because of all these muscles, you know? All right, so if I think for shorts today, what I'm going to do, nice and easy, I'm going to target shorts under this level today. And I'm going to target longs above this level right here. And I'm going to target a 50-point move today. So 50-point move over these two levels, okay? Until then, we're going to be waiting very patiently. And I'm going to get my coffee. reason why we're waiting really patiently here is because I want to get it below the VWAP. The VWAP is going to be a very important part of the process. To distinguishing a global trend on MNQ. I want to take a look at some other markets right now. Something else. No trade of yet for me. My allergies in the morning is usually always this bad. That's crazy. My mic can pick up that music. This is why I'm waiting before these for these two levels here. All right, guys. So we're waiting patiently here inside of the markets. Remember, it's already been 30 minutes. We don't have much of a trade exactly at this moment. And the reason for that is because the technicals are not really giving us the best trade possible. You know, I patiently wait here every single day for the right setup to be able to trade my equity so that I'm able to make a 50-point move inside of the market at a minimum to make some money, 2 trades maximum, then I get out of my trades for the day. If in an hour the market can't produce some sort of relevance of price action that gives me confidence through all 8 of the tech stocks, then realistically, there's going to be no trade for me at the end of the day here. I can always save my equity for a trade for the next day. A lot of the other trades that we worked out last week worked pretty well. Right now I'm in Solana longs, and I was long since about $80 on Solana. It's up at $84 right now, so that's a 170% move or gain up. At this point, markets are still teetering sideways. So my expectations for the markets, especially in the crypto market, is that if we take money off of the stock market, it's going to be rotated into safer assets, and I think cryptocurrency would be one of those safer assets that people park their money into because it can't be really controlled as much by the U.S. government. But then again, you're betting against the economy of the United States, which is never really a good time of times of war. In times of war, the surplus, it simply just goes from high cash reserves to spending and consuming products inside of the United States. Does that make sense, right? So like medicine, bandages, products and goods, that all is going to be supporting inside of the infrastructure of the United States. It's a sad reality, but at the end of the day, like, war is very bullish for our economy. It's just not very bullish for humanity at the end of the day. And that's the sad truth about battle. You know, people are going to come back all fucked up and shit. But the economy is going to do well over a course and period of time, because we spend more money on goods, even sending things to soldiers overseas. You know, that's a reality of the truth. You got to look at that for what it is. So again, in Solana longs right now, will I hold this through and through? Well, to be honest with you, I'm only going to be taking a look at this from a macro position. Right now in the 4 hour, you can see that we kind of made a lower high at that $80 point. That gives me indication that we could actually come to touch the top of my box here at $91. I'll take that $200 profit for this week. We are trading cryptocurrency in a very specific fashion. I mainly just use a meme reversal strategy, so it is 100% win rate. I do not lose on my meme reversal strategy. It is 100% win rate. I simply just short meme coins every single week on cryptocurrency. It is 100%. I've never lost on that, a trade on that. As long as I have my equity in the right place at the right time, using it in the right format with risk management, I've never lost a trade. Now, what has knocked me for a little while, like a few different times, is the way the risk management goes inside of that trade. I get murked on funding rates, and it doesn't matter where you're trading inside of the market. Sometimes I just get murked, and it's really not along the lines of it's really not along the lines of the trade itself. It's just how the brokerage is going to fund that position to me. That's what I forgot to put in there. Creatine. It's okay, I'll put it in there next time. Okay, so as you noticed, we didn't get the alert because I forgot to set it. But now we're touching the top of the trend on the 2 minute on MNQ. This is what we were waiting for. If you had taken that trade a few minutes ago, I had already set it up for you guys. So there's no reason why anybody who was in this live prior to like 5 or 10 minutes ago shouldn't be in that trade and should not have already have been 40 points in profit. I was talking through a cryptocurrency trade, so I didn't take the trade myself. I didn't set the alert either, because for me, the importance of making the trade was not like high for me, especially since the tech stocks are kind of wonky. But the reason why we got that little push is because AVGO is absolutely tearing the markets a new one on the upside. It looks like we're up like $10 on AVGO percentage wise. This is almost a 4% gain on the markets today on AVGO. That's crazy. Now, if you just now got into this trade, I would be very cognizant that, look, exactly, it pushes all the way back down. That's why I try to target those 40-point moves inside of the market. I simply just target those short periods of time with lowest amount of points possible to make a gain for the day, because the markets have been trading sideways not just for this month but for the past 3 months, and I feel it's just propped up at this point, and it's just prolonging the inevitable. Well, what's the inevitable that you're asking me? The inevitable is simple. The markets are going to come down. They are. In times of high uncertainty like war, this typically takes a quick correction down. Even top banks right now are saying that 10% off the market is the minimum, like, that they are looking at as kind of regression in price action. Now, statistically speaking, we've talked about this in previous videos. How much do we actually come back? 10% would be the low side. So they always predict the low side of the market drops for the simple reason because they don't want to spark and create panic. 10%, oh, okay, like, people will be like, that's not that bad, But when it drops 10, 20, 27%, well, that's where things get fucking ugly, right? That would cause severe panic. If you said to somebody tomorrow, like, hey, you're going to lose 20% of all the money that you have in the stock market. Well, like, that's literally like the Joker coming to you and saying, like, I'm an agent of chaos. And all I care about is seeing chaos in the markets. People would freak out. They wouldn't be like sitting there and be like, oh yeah, they would withdraw their money. It would cause mass panic. So they definitely risk manage their words very, very carefully inside of the markets so that they don't cause this huge, gigantic sell-off before they take their piece of the cake, right? So remember, we're in cryptocurrency longs right now on Solana. I'm going to hold this through. My stop loss would be at the end of this box here, and that would be simply just because I don't want to lose X amount of dollars. I'm okay with a 1-to-1 ratio right now in cryptocurrency. If you're looking for a kind of a more conservative stop loss, the entry here would probably be the best place, right? So that would be on the change of character on the higher low, right? We don't want to risk equity inside of these markets right now where they could be very well put inside of long positions. Remember, we've already come back, like, we've already regressed so far inside of the cryptocurrency markets. So I've said this now, I'm going to say it 10 more times. I'm going to keep saying it because when I come back to these videos and I tell you guys, well, I have been saying it, you should be stacking your long bags right now. You should be stacking long bags right now, taking every single month or every single week a part of your income and buying cryptocurrencies with it. You should be buying blue chip stocks, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. I guess that's a good coin as well. That's considered one of the top 3. Solana, $80 for Solana, where it was once trading at $220. Do the math on that. That's already 50-60% off the price of a coin. And that's well worth holding that kind of money in that kind of a market, because it's a very high risk of return, and also high risk of ruin. But at the same time, like, if we see Solana at $20 again, you can best believe I'm going to be selling my kidney. I'm going to be selling everything that I own to just put inside of Solana at $20 again. Chopping. So since 9 a.m., have we had any price action that has been giving us high confidence inside of the market? Not really. I mean, like, anybody who's made money in this morning's market open is a fucking gambler. Yeah, and you heard me say that correct. You're a fucking gambler. Because there was no trade. There's absolutely no trade this morning. The only trades that I'm going to get into is below the VWAP, volume weighted average price, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to go long over this point targeting a 50-point move. But as you can see here, we've already tested twice of this micro resistance inside of the 2-minute. So it's giving me an ideology or an idea, a trade idea that, what? Yep. My lord. It's just giving me the idea that the basic trend of the market is not going to be bullish for the day. This price action on the 15 minutes is evident of that as well. So we're bullish staircase up, right? First test at the 9 EMA, cleared it to the resistance. Second red candle came inside. Now the doji is battling. I hate when it puts it back on these. There we go. Right? Flat candle, flat candle, flat candle. So it's been 45 minutes of flat candles underneath this resistance. One would assume, right? One would assume that this is a resistance of high confidence, right? That the markets are now pricing in. Is there news today that can change that? No, not really. The only news that's going to be able to change that today is essentially the Trump speaking, and that's at the end of the market. He's starting to do that now, where he's talking at the end of the market, so he doesn't affect price action that much on stocks or crypto. I don't blame him. That buddy, he when he talks, he moves markets so quickly. It's very dangerous. So we just wait patiently. And I'm going to give it another 30 minutes. I wish I had some questions to answer for you guys, but it seems like you guys don't have many questions. And I don't really love over talking for things. So if you have questions, just hop onto the YouTube. We're answering live questions for free. I'm waiting really patiently for my trade, my setup. I got 15 more minutes to make this trade. Otherwise, I got to go and do some other stuff. But the trade mechanics are still there. We are going to go long over 24,420 for the day. Short under the VWAP, giving it a little bit room for grace at 24,245. That would be a clear cut close, indicating a signal change and continuation on MNQ. Not much going on today. Price action is so stale. So stale. Iran warns of $200. Seems like everybody's winning on oil. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day for there. You have the framework. That's crazy that I can hear that music from there. All right, you guys have the framework for essentially the trades today. I gave it to you on the 2-minute right now. Focus, stay focused. If there's no trade, there's no trade. Don't force it. Okay? At the end of the day, all we're looking for is a singular trade that's going to change our day. Okay? Good luck. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Pleasure serving you guys today.